Hello everyone, this is my new YouTube channel. I deleted mine a couple years back and now I'm making a new one. And this one's all about Christians. I'm going to tell you about how I came to know Christ, how I met people that didn't know Christ, how I'm trying to change their lives, and stuff like that. Let me tell you a little bit about me. I was baptized at age 11. I didn't grow up talking about Christians or Christ or stuff like that, but I did go to church with my uncle when I was like very little, but I never really paid attention, you know. By the age, I was probably around in 5th or 6th grade when I really started getting into the church, and my mom got in some trouble, and she started serving, I forgot what you call it, but she started serving at the church, doing her minutes or hours, whatever you want to call them. But she took us to church, and a couple months later, when we started really attending the church, stuff like that, we went to this reenactment called Heaven Gates, Hell's Flames. It was a bunch of people reenacting real life scenarios, you know, like let's say, for instance, a couple of teenagers went to a party and stuff like that, and there was that one Christian, you know, and let's say that one Christian and 3 other teenagers went in the car, and some of them were drunk, stuff like that, some were on drugs or whatever it be. I guess that night, I don't guess this has actually really happened, believe me or not, I heard God whisper in my ear. I was 11 at the time. I heard God whisper in my ear, "Go." And I was like, "What? Go where?" And then after all the scenarios happened, the pastor came up, and he came up and said, he started preaching a little bit about God and what Jesus is, what he did for all of us, stuff like that. And I heard "go" again. So I was like, what is going on? I'm like, do I got a bug in my ear or something? So the pastor finally said about praying and stuff like that. At the end, he said, "Whoever accepted Christ, raise your hand or come up." And that's the prayer I prayed. I accepted Jesus in my life, and I surrendered my life to him. And I heard that one more time, "Go." So I went. No doubt about it, no question myself, what am I hearing? Is it just in my head? I went. So a bunch of us went around the church, went in the back, there's this little welcome room. And a guy came up to me, he's like, "Oh, so you accepted Christ in your life?" I was like, "Yeah, but I want to learn more about it first." So he was teaching me more about Christ, what he did, what he is, and stuff like that. And so I got baptized at the age of 11. But anyways, as a Christian, we're called to preach to all species in the world, humans, stuff like that. And I was watching this video earlier today. I don't know if some of y'all heard it or not, about Black Mass that happened at Harvard. And it was these Satanists and Christians. It was like a whole controversy about Satanists want to have this Black Mass and speak their truth about Satan. So, these Christians yelling at these Satanists. And it kind of bugged me a little bit about the Christian side, about how they're supposed to preach into the world. They're supposed to preach with love, not anger. And when I was watching that, it kind of made me want to make my own little YouTube channel and stuff like that, and explain how you're really supposed to talk with people about Christ. I made these points, and they're little short points, I know. Later in my videos, I'll make more about it. But the first one is, I kind of went over it a little bit, was speak with love. What I mean by that is, when you're talking about someone with Christ, let's say they were a Christian and they went off the wrong path, right? You're supposed to speak with them with love. You're supposed to guide them and help them, not say, "Oh, you're a sinner, you did bad, you're this, you're that," you know? And that's what some Christians get a bad reputation for, because some of them really do that. They go up to somebody and try to speak about them with Christ, and then they get a negative side to them and saying, "Oh, you're a sinner." Well, well, good morning, sir. We're all sinners, you know. You're not supposed to speak with hate or anger when you're speaking about Jesus, you know, or the Bible, or about God. And step 2, building a relationship with them is probably like the biggest thing you can do before you really introduce them to God. Because like once you know their story, their background, and they know your story and your background, that's when you start introducing God to them. Some of them will sit down peacefully and listen. Some of them will be like, oh no, I don't have the time for that. Then that's okay still. That's fine. Doesn't mean you stop trying though. You know? And tell them about you, how Christ changed your life, you know? And pray with them, stuff like that. Ask them for coffee, you know? Like, oh, let's go get some coffee, stuff like that. After you have that relationship bond with them, you know, start really getting into it. Give them little verses, explain it, explain what Jesus is, you know, and pray with them, you know. Ask them, oh, what can I pray for you, stuff like that. Like, some of them probably going through a really hard time. Who knows? They could be the richest person in the world, but in God's eyes, you're still you. He made you. You're supposed to be in His image, and you're supposed to do it with love. Speaking with love, I had a guy come up to me a few weeks ago, and I was talking to him. I was like, so do you believe in God? So like, we've been talking for a while, and I had this relationship with him. And I asked him, I was like, do you truly believe in God or Jesus? He's like, you know what, I was a Christian, but my mom pressured me so much and nagging me every second of the day about him. I kind of turned my path. And I was like, oh, so what do you believe in? He was joking around, you know, this spaghetti flying monster or whatever. I was like, what the heck is that? You know, he started explaining. It's just our own little image of something, you know. I was like, so do you really truly believe that? He's like, no, it was just a joke, you know, me and my friends kind of did it. I was like, oh, okay. And so I was telling him about I wasn't always a Christ follower. And he was asking me these questions. So I was like, you know, what really bugs me is about these Christians. And he's like, let me stop you there. I was like, go ahead. Whatever you got to say, say it. He's like, these Christians around school, or so-called Christians around school, come up to me and like, oh, you should really follow Jesus, huh? You know that, right? You're a little punk, stuff like that. Kind of bully him. I was like, hold on, let me stop you. These Christians come up to you trying to make you follow Jesus. He's like, yeah. I was like, wow, really? And so he started explaining more about this scenario. I was like, you know what, dude? I'll pray with you right now. So I prayed with them, stuff like that. And I was like, you know, if anytime you have any questions about Jesus, stuff like that, ignore them. You can come to me, you know. I know I don't know everything in the Bible. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. I still stumble with sin every single day, but I still get back up because Jesus died for me. And at the end of the day, at the end of anything, Jesus wins because He died for us. He died for our sins, and we're covered in His blood. And not literally, you can't see blood on us, but you know what I mean. And I hope to see you more subscribers. I hope you subscribe, you know, so I can teach more about it. And I hope you like it. Thank you.